Yeah. No, I'm Mel Mann, and I'm blessed and grateful to be with writer Amanda Russo, the author of Undergo, who, in her own words, likes writing horror, thriller, and occasionally romance. Hi,
Hi, and I'm so happy to be here with you.
me too. So we're going to jump right into it. So, for me, very strongly, life imitates art. I have a lot of stories on this, and I find that the things I create on screen appear in my real life. So you write more horror and thriller than romance. Do you have more horror than romance in your life?
Actually, no. I do have a boyfriend, so we have a lot romance. But
Nice.
yeah, but horror is just I don't know. I've always grown up with it, and when I think like creating a story or when I wa- decide like what movie to watch, horror has just always been my ideal choice.
'Cause why?
Um, I just think that there's so much creativity with creating something so scary, and I think that the adrenaline that you get from watching something scary or the anticipation of something popping up at you is thrilling. It's just it gets to me all the time, and I always wait for those moments.
Like, want that thrill. You wanna get jumped at and be like, "Ah!"
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
definitely.
Okay, interesting. So now we're gonna talk about your book. Now, you wrote a book, Undergo. The back reads, 10 years ago, I experienced the most horrific time in my life when I stayed at this very hotel I'm sitting in right now. My friends and I had just completed our sophomore year at college and decided we would take a vacation for ourselves. Now, the last vacation I took was one of the most horrific times of my life. I had to go to the emergency room after and I almost died. So this is very relatable. Now, what inspired this story?
What inspired this one? I started writing this when I was 16 and I was a newbie. I had no idea what I was doing, and I actually wanted to make it into a screenplay because I was obsessed with movies, horror movies, but I had no idea what I was doing. So I was just writing a bunch of notes. And then after watching Nightmare on Elm Street one night, it just clicked. And
Ah.
I just thought that it was kind of cool of, being in a dream sequence and trying to create that into a story was hard. But I just kept thinking and creating over and over. And it finally got to a finished project.
So why write this? Why not just keep it in your head or just tell some friends?
It was like an itch to get it down on paper. It was like something just kept telling me, "You need to get this down, you need to write." I couldn't stop thinking about it until I got it all down on paper.
I had a feeling. That's why I asked that question. I had a feeling about that. So you write horror. Do you believe in ghosts?
I do. I do. We definitely are not the only ones on this planet. I do believe that there's some very haunted places, some evil ghost, and maybe some peaceful ghost.
Do you have any ghost stories you can share?
I did actually I have one. When I was 14, I went on a ski trip and we stayed at this rented house. And I'm
Mhm.
telling you, that place was haunted. There was like rocking chair moving,
Oh,
the
wow.
bedroom door like swaying, and then I was up at until 3 in the morning because all this was freaking me out, watching
Hmm.
TV. And I saw like this black shadow and like stomping on the stairs. And then the TV just
Whoa.
goes out. Yeah. And
Whoa.
then the TV just goes out. And then the stomping on the stairs again. Now the TV was no problem all day, except for at 3 in the morning when it just shut off. So, yep,
Wow.
that was my ghost story.
I'm not sure because I'm not a paranormal investigator, but well, a few of my friends are. And one of my friends was telling me a story how he was in this very active place, but all the batteries were drained because one of the theories that people say is that it drains the batteries. So perhaps this entity was taking energy from the TV or electronics, and it takes that energy, and supposedly that's how it materializes in real life. That's what I've been told.
Wow,
So
I've never
if you
heard of
see
that.
lights going out and you see electronics going out, but then you see things, it's feeding off of that energy. So Well,
A
back
good
to your
fact.
writing. Yeah, back to your I got a lot of those in the paranormal. So now writing, it takes up a lot of time. And whenever we say yes to one thing, we're saying no to something else. Fact of life. Why is the time and energy cost of writing beneficial to you?
Because I I feel like I'm lost if I'm not writing. Like I
Mhm.
feel very um you know, what's the word? I feel confused, I feel lost,
Hmm.
and when I'm writing, I feel like I'm centered again.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, that can make sense if you believe in the paranormal and ghosts. Some people you say you might be connecting with something while you're writing. So maybe you're
I've
actually
heard that.
connected. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So speaking of more weird stuff, do you believe in mermaids?
Mermaids. That I'm not so sure about. I haven't really done any investigating about them, so I can't say yes or no.
Hmm. How about
Is
Bigfoot?
Yes, I do.
You
I do.
do?
There has to be something out there, like especially with all the footage that they found on saying that, oh, Bigfoot's out here. I do believe a lot of them are fake because we are living in a social media world where people
Hmm.
try to get a lot of views on their videos. But I mean, there are a few videos that are very questionable that this could be real.
Okay, so now we're doing the whole Believe It in series, which I just created before this interview. Do you believe in marriage?
Yes, I do.
Hmm.
It's just uh I do and I don't. Because I kind of feel like sometimes you lose your identity in marrying somebody because you kind of fall into this routine with this person and you kind of lose your independence. Um and I do believe in marriage because if you really truly love somebody, you want to spend the rest of your life with them and you want to be one with them.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, I've been there a few times, maybe 3.5 times. I say a half because, sometimes people are halves and they're not wholes.
Yeah.
Going on that, back to your writing now, what are some things that you've written or writing that we're going to see on a big screen?
Ooh, I'm working with you know the director Glenn and writer Sal, and we have a new project that we're working on. It's another horrorish type fantasy, and we're hoping to for that to kick off very soon.
Any details you can leak about that?
I think Glenn will be
Mm.
pretty mad if I do
Oh,
that.
yeah? Okay.
Yeah,
Good. Yeah, we don't wanna piss off Glenn. I mean, I've never seen Glenn mad. But I
yeah,
don't wanna see Glenn mad, so we'll skip on
exactly.
that. Okay, we'll come back to that after it's produced. Back to the Believe In series. We're almost done. We're almost done. Do you believe in Dr. Fauci?
Ooh,
Ah,
that's a difficult one. Yes and no. Um, I don't really believe in a lot of his stance, but I do believe that, he might be looking out of what's best for the world.
okay. Do you believe in miracles?
Oh yeah.
Have you had any miracles or things that you're like, "This has to be a miracle?"
Yes. So kind of like tragic story. My mom, I found my mom unresponsive in her room when
Oh,
I was 16,
wow.
and I had like this gut feeling like I was reading in my room and I was going back inside to hang out with my brother, and
Mhm.
I felt like I hit a wall and like something in me said go back, check on your mom, check on her.
Wow.
And I went back, I found her, and when we got her to the hospital, they said if we waited like another 10 minutes, she wasn't gonna make it.
Wow. Wow, you just
Yeah.
had this feeling to go back.
Oh yeah, like I can't it was so real, and it kept me up all night on, like why is it that like I had that feeling? How did I
Yeah,
make it in time?
right. I have a lot of those. I have, like, over 100 or 200 of those. And the last bits, there's a few more of the believe-ins. You believe in God?
Yes.
Any reasons why?
Ooh, we can't there has to be a reason why we are here, and the way that this world is like it's beautiful. This had to been created by somebody,
Mm.
and we all have faith in ourselves, and there's a lot of good in this world. There is a lot of evil, but that good has to come from somewhere, and that's not just made up by a big bang. I don't believe that.
Unless, two were banging really never mind. This is for the
Yeah, yeah.
radio. I told you can't do anything lewd, but I could go like this. See, the radio can't hear this.
No.
Last 2 questions before we get to your social media where you can share where to find you. Do you believe in demons and angels? Last question.
Yes, because not that um, wanna believe in demons. I believe in angels and the oh my god, I believe in angels and God, but if you believe that there's good, you have to believe that there's evil, and I do believe that there is evil, demons, devil. I do believe they're out there.
Have you seen any, like, proof or like, "Wow, this evil has to exist?"
The only proof I think is just the evil that we see in this world. With the crime and honestly, sometimes the negative attitudes that people have. Like, I've heard stories of if you feel this overwhelming anger, it means like a demon and an angel were fighting and the
Oh,
angel got defeated. So that's where sometimes I've heard that that's where negative feelings come from. So
huh.
that's the only explanation I can give about
Yeah.
um yeah.
Very interesting. I haven't heard that one. See, I'm glad I asked these questions. And anything on your mind that you feel that we should know about anything, the world, the public, you, their book, your writing, anything.
Um, yeah, I mean, with as far as the book, and my writing, I do write a lot of horror. It is definitely a big part of me, but that
Mhm.
doesn't mean that I believe in all bad in the world. I just find horror so fascinating. I have a love of all different films, all different genres that I can talk about to anyone. Horror I relate a little more to, but also just because you do like horror and a little more the darker side doesn't mean that you have to be that type of person. You could still be a happy, bubbly person.
As you are, as you
Thank
definitely
you.
come off like, maybe more than me, and I don't write horror. I don't write horror at all. I write health. But I see a lot of horrifying things. I was even asked to commit multiple felonies this week, which I did not,
No.
which I did
Yeah, okay,
not.
good.
And on the final wrap up, where can we find you? List your social medias, anything you want us to check out.
Yeah, I'm mainly on Instagram right now. My Instagram name is Amanda Russo Writes. And I am on Facebook, but I post more on Instagram than on Facebook. I am going to start creating a website very soon. So hope to have that up and running.
Just don't post anything the pharmaceutical companies don't like because then you'll have your website deleted like me 2 times. It was hacked and hacked
Mm.
and hacked and hacked hundreds of times and taken down 2 times. But if you don't say anything that the government or pharmaceuticals don't like, you'll be fine. You'll be
Yes.
fine. And
Yes,
horror seems to be loved.
yeah, I like to think so. If it's not people's cup of tea, you know what? That's totally fine. I hope that they can find the books that they enjoy. But if it is your cup of tea, I hope that they do enjoy the story. And if not, there's plenty of other horror stories out there that I hope that they do enjoy.
And hopefully we'll see her work on a big screen, maybe this year or next year. Also with Glenn McBride. Shout out to Glenn. Gotta give Glenn a shout out. And on that note, we will conclude the interview. And now back to the studio for more. It came from the radio.